Actually recording. And then it does that weird glitch thing. Okay, I assume we're good. Okay. So as always, we're here in as always. Well, literally always, because we've only been in week 6 of a challenge once before. This being a different challenge, of course. But week 5 was last week, and so week 6 is this week, which hasn't officially ended yet. I like to do these videos on Thursdays just to try and get more people to catch on through the weekends. It doesn't seem to be working, but there's nothing good on TV on Thursdays, and I don't know if I'll be out tomorrow watching Wuthering movie or something. I don't know. So whatever. So week 5, I managed to wear 3 pairs of boots from the challenge, and then 1 pair of boots that technically these should have been included in week 4, but also in week 5, which of course is the Thursday Maverick, which I guess I'm now bumping up as an alternate instead of the other alternate pairs or some of the other alternate pairs. But of course, wearing this for a few hours on the weekend, it doesn't show that much wear and tear in addition to the whatever previous wear and tear they had. But I'm jumping right in, showing these. But I also want to take time to discuss my video from the previous day about boycott Tinder. It's not a joke. It's a real thing I want to happen. I just recorded a whole hour-long video, so you can check out part of that or just do it without me having to explain too much why here. Also, I do have more Western official-looking shirts, but this one escaped the laundry tonight when I was washing the jeans and some of the other things. I did, oh, and this is one of the new hats. So I just did like 3 hat videos, so I'm not going to do another video, but it's a little bit crooked. You can kind of see it. I'll have to see if the guy can kind of fix that next week when he shapes it. It only needs like a tiny, I'm doing it backwards because of the camera. It only needs a little tiny tilt on the one side, I think. So maybe he can steam that, but it's not pinching. It's a little bit loose, maybe compared to some of my other hats. Maybe what I'm used to wearing, which is too tight. But of course, if I was riding on a horse, this could be more likely to come off than something that's giving me a red welt on my forehead. But anyway, so yeah, the shirt, the hat, the boots, a lot of Western wear, going full bore, full force, whatever you want to call it. But not wearing these as daily wear shoes at all. Yeah, but not having worn the other Ariat ones with the saddle vamp bit overlay. The other ones I wore a little bit were these. So again, not part of the official playlist, but these are the Ramblers, also the Ariat. There's the logo there. And the footbed or outsole. These were just easy to grab to run errands because I can just pull them on and drive in them without them really catching on the pedals, even though it does have this bit of a lip overhang that can catch on the pedal. So far so good. A little bit of scuffage, but I wasn't like using these as walking shoes or anything for, or I've never tried to use them for like hiking boots or any of that kind of thing. So yeah, they're literally not going to show that much wear again in, a couple of hours. But I'll probably, when I do the grand roundup in 2 weeks. Now, next week, we're supposed to have quite a bit of rain, which means some of the boots that got shelved back at the end of December or whatever, or the beginning of January, might get worn next week, which would mean maybe the Thursday Hero boots, which are almost the same thing as the President boots, and maybe the Keen waterproof ones. And I did buy those other Wolverine ones that I haven't even worn yet. We'll see. But of course, this and this, not to go too into detail, but they are a slightly different style of Western boot. So this being more of a roper boot, it's got the shorter height, and this being more of a traditional proper riding boot. It's got the taller heel and the higher shaft, and different styles of pull tabs may exist. This one still has pull tabs, even though you don't really use them. And there's the stamped in logo there. Whereas this is from Thursday. Again, it's kind of worn off on that one. Yeah. Thursday, the Maverick. I believe this is the brandy color. It's got the wooden lemon wood pegs and the rubber heel counter and the proper toe bugs with the, you know, kind of stitching inlays to help you with the flex of the foot a bit, but not as gaudy as the square toe, you know, the kind of one size fits all looking design there. So yeah, the heel height being part of the main difference. And then of course these having all rubber outsoles, so not really designed for dancing, more of a, meant to be an inexpensive work boot, but a kind of a semi-stylish work boot. So anyway, so that's that. That's the aside. That's the two that got bumped in instead of the other ones that could have gotten bumped in. And the other hat that I had to get shaped, it's still a bit tight. The guy told me to wear it, but then today I wore this one instead. So that's the way it goes. Just because felt like it and wanted to see how well it did walking around. And yeah, the leather band got a little bit sweaty, and it does have, again, the lining, which most of my hats do not, so I'm not entirely used to that. I think that does make my head a little bit sweatier, but it's also February, so we'll see how it goes. So in week 5, so I'm going to save these for last because I also wore them in week 6. In week 5, we had the Wolverine 6-inch loader. We'll start with those, which of course are the most work booty boots of the boots. And then we had the Thursday President, which we'll talk about second. And so there won't be a lot of big mystery here. I ended up using these. I think it was the end of week 4. I actually really wore these. And then like at the beginning of the week, I think I put these on at a habit and then didn't wear them again. I don't know. I just kept wearing the other Thursday ones. So these didn't really get worn as much. They didn't get worn at all this week, but they got worn a bit last week. So once again, they're not going to show a ton of wear and tear since they got more wear in week 4, but I don't think they got filmed at the end of week 4. I don't remember. I'm not going to rewatch that video. If you actually are the one who watched it, you can go, hey, I don't remember you showing those. Good thing you're showing them now. Well, thanks. Okay, great. So you can see there's a bit of wear finally kind of starting to show. I mean, this is the thickest wedge I've ever seen. I still don't know any other boots that have this thick of a wedge. So I don't know how many years it takes to actually wear through that. But it looks like it's got quite a bit of time to go. And I was noticing, I think it's my right foot that wears, which side is right? No, maybe the right one wears a little bit faster than the left. So I think my right leg is a little bit longer. I think in one of the videos I said my left leg was longer and I made a mistake. I don't remember. I might have corrected it in the description. Wherever that was, but I had gotten some pants tailored and I already knew that one of my hips sits higher than the other one. But she was noticing that one of my shoulders also is wrong. So when we were trying to do the sleeves, my left sleeve is never the same as the right sleeve. So another anomaly, idiosyncrasy, whatever. But so anyway, so these, yeah, they got a little bit more wear. Again, I had stopped doing the head-to-head of this with the Golden Fox quite a while ago. I am still doing the head-to-head of the Levi's and the other jeans. I just washed the Levi's jeans. I haven't worn the Blair jeans yet. The Levi's are starting to show a little bit of fraying on the bottom cuffs, slightly more than the other ones. So I don't know. We might start to get some areas that we can call critical failures, although they wouldn't be anything that affects the actual wear of the thing. And of course, next week sometime I'll probably do my late winter reset video where I discuss stuff like this without really including boots much. So that's these. Like I said, not a lot to report on these, but they did get worn. Oh, and then so then next was the Thursday President in the black coffee, which if I can keep the glare off it, you can kind of see the interesting texture. Well, it's not so much texture in the, you know, tactile sense, but texture in the different mottled color kind of sense. So this one did get a bit creased now. Finally, it's showing some actual wear, which of course was when after this side had really been poking me and cut me on under the ankle a bit the one day. I don't remember that it really drew any serious blood or anything, but it was really painful. It felt worse than expected, and then it just kind of, I don't know, resolved itself. I was able to wear the boot again a day or two later, and it was fine. But then after kind of beating them up a little bit as such, I kind of went ahead and shelved these. And I had talked about trying to countersink these nails a little bit better on this right one, with no luck so far. The left one I don't seem to have as much of the same issue. Again, the one side you can see a little bit more of the pronation from the other one. I don't think you'll be able to see it as well on these boots as in the next ones. This one, yeah, this one, the left one shows a bit more though, a tiny bit more wear so far. So who knows? And then the inside, you've got the lined leather, the foam really taking the shape of my foot, but going flat again at the same time. So becoming less comfortable with, you know, daily wear for that week and a half or whatever. I wore them pretty often for a little bit, and then, like I said, kind of went ahead and sort of shelved them again until further notice. Just because it's kind of the case of, well, these are supposed to be my nice dressy boots. Now that I know that they kind of fit and they're kind of broken in, I don't really have any reason to, you know, prematurely destroy them. Same as with the other color of the same exact boot, and kind of the same thing with the Hero boots, which of course have the waxed flesh instead. So once that wax coating comes off, I can put them in the rotation, or I can take them out of the rotation. Once the waxed coating comes off, like, you know, you kind of, I don't know, some people think they look cool. I think it's hit or miss. I think I'll be less impressed with how they look than the average bear. These laces, again, gave me a real issue the very first time I wore them, and then they did fine since then, but I always double knot them. So there's that. And it's just, you know, a standard $200 boot. There's nothing super frills about it. I'm not sure, you know, how likely I am to try and rebuild them into, you know, more of a this kind of boot or that kind of boot. I think this is, I mean, you bought it because it was this, right? Like, you know, how this leather is going to, again, react in time to wear and light. I'm not positive, because that dye job is different than, you know, like a solid color or their other leather, which is, of course, the rugged and resilient type. Well, they have other different leathers, but this is the most common one, I think, which, of course, is the Captain. This is the old Blast Captain from a few years ago. So you can't really get this toe shape and such anymore. Which this one, again, is the one I was able to get in half a size down, whereas the other ones I had to go half a size up or whatever. So this one, it was really smashing my foot the one day. Yeah, like unbelievably, I thought I had broken my toe, but then the next day that was all back to normal again too. And so yeah, the outsoles show a little bit of wear, a little bit of dirt, but not significant. Mostly the heels again. You can see a little bit. This is the right one. This is the left one. So again, I think the right one slightly more wear. In fact, yeah. When you have it at just the right angle, you can see the right one a little bit more of an angle. But obviously, again, in 2 weeks of wearing these the most in the last 2 weeks, I guess, they show a little bit of normal wear. But this one, I did really scuff it up. I put them on to do chores when I should have had the Wolverine ones instead, and really scraped the toes of these. This one's the worst of the two. This one's not quite as bad, but it does have scuffing. And of course, then you've got the indentation where the creasing is happening behind the cap toe. So you can really kind of see where they're folding, and the fake cap toe that doesn't have a double layer under here is really firm, though. I don't know if there's a elastic in there or not, but this on the other hand is flexing away, and on the inside you can see where it's getting kind of a little bit of a divot, but nothing anywhere near a hole. I haven't worn them anywhere near long enough to really achieve that, but you can see where it's kind of darkening up and lightening up in spots. Again, different than the other boot, because these were more of a solid color out of the box. And if I could get less glare, I wish, but a bit shiny from the light, sorry. But again, a boot that doesn't typically expect a lot of conditioning or babying or anything. So I have given it absolutely 0, but I think I probably will, maybe when the challenge is over, finally hit these with a little bit of that grease or beeswax or whatever that Nick sends, and see how it reacts to that. Because I do have a little bit of extra that I got for those other boots that I haven't used it with those. I don't know if I will use it with those, because I've been seeing about some other products that the one guy was saying that that stuff is kind of harder to get out of the stitches and things and this and that, and might be a different, more of an oil that would work better on the one style of boot than the other ones, whereas the other ones, I guess it's just rub it in and brush it off or whatever. So we'll see how it goes when I finally get around to dealing with those boots. So these, again, a lot of use in the last 2 weeks, where some of these only got used 1 week, or like one little day out of the week or whatever. So this was week 5 into week 6. So that's week 5 done and week 6 begun. And so that brings us to the final pair. And again, not a pair that got a lot of use, but did get worn on Sunday for sure. And that was, again, the Thorogood 8-inch wedge sole. They're starting to show a little bit of character in the leather. They're not being used as work boots, because again, I have those other ones that I would usually grab more for that. There's a little bit of scuffing on the heel, not a ton of delineation or whatever yet, but a little bit finally. The other side, again, you can compare one side a little bit more than the other, a tiny bit. And that's, again, the right. I think the right side showing less on this one, actually, and the left a little bit more than the right on this particular brand so far. So yeah, maybe a tiny bit, a tiny bit. No, I don't know. Actually, I'm thinking the right one's worse. Just by a tiny bit. So I forget which one I was showing. And so we're starting to get a little creasing across the vamp, ever so slightly much. I'm really not abusing these yet. Again, I accidentally abused those ones when I should have been abusing those ones. But yeah, they're getting a little bit scuffed in places. They're getting a little bit worn. The padded collar isn't showing any significant issues. The tongue isn't showing any significant issues, but when I lace it a little too tight, it kind of bites into the skin a little bit. There's kind of a happy medium where you don't want to pull them so tight down. Again, the other tag's starting to peel up. This one doing a little better. The insoles, again, are removable and have a little bit of sock fuzz, but not any significant issues yet. Again, didn't wear them that much that they should in the last few days. The other side, of course, is the one that had the weird anomaly. There's a divot part on the, you can see this hole kind of thing, and it looks like it got a little scraped up on the edge there. I don't know if that was like that or if that's been damaged. So yeah, I don't know how long these insoles are supposed to last or how easy they are to replace with the same brand. But since I probably won't wear these at all next week, it won't be till March or something when it might be that they get really put back in the rotation again, because again, I don't know what the weather's going to do in the long term or more short term or less short term, more, I don't know. We're just making up words at this point. We're trying to add concepts. Again, these have the pull tab at the back that I never ever use. It's not a very easy one to kind of, it's thin, so it doesn't really annoy or get noticed. They're not that tall of boots where I really need it, so I haven't really used it. A little bit of damage from the eyelets again, but not a little bit more on the one than the other. Not significant yet. So that's about the size of that. And of course, the logo and the tag and the flag and the bottom of this one, again, showing a little bit less wear than the bottom of this one. So yeah, I've been babying these a bit. That's still a bit too much probably, but that's going to continue for, like I said, at least another week. I want to be wearing potentially the hero ones instead of the captain ones. Although these ones I think are decently water repellent on their own. Don't know about the, I have some kind of quotes about the frugal living or the no buy year. Obviously I've failed at my no buy year because I already bought cowboy hats and tires for my car and whatever. But it's still a low buy year. But it's mostly, kind of, be desireless kind of Buddha stuff. The main question being, well, the one question was, remember when you wanted what you now currently have? So I guess that's assuming that you have stuff that's currently good or worthwhile or better than some of the other stuff that you used to have. I don't know. Honestly, I still got a little bit of red on my forehead from this hat, but it's not pinching or anything. I don't know why it's doing that. Probably just because I'm moving my head around a lot. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's always kind of a hole to fill, right? Like this hat, the felt is a little bit better than the other hat. I returned the Justin hat because it was a little bit more comparable to the one that I already had in color and in felt quality, but it was a lower price than this. It was a good $20 or something less. but it also fit horrible, so I didn't feel like dealing with it. So again, this one being a slight upgrade from the Cody James one that I already have. And an upgrade is an upgrade, you know, and it was a decent price. And then the other one, the 5X, is an upgrade from this one, and you can really feel the heavier felt, but it was a lot harder to get the right fit, and it's still not quite perfect with the shaping and everything. But then the other question is, would I purchase this again at full price? And so, again, with the boots, I don't remember which all ones I got on sale, and which I know I got at least one of the Wolverine pairs on sale because they had the coupon after I bought the first pair or whatever. Did I just say Wolverine when I held up Thorogood? This pair was Wolverine. I know I bought these at the full price, I think, originally, and then I got the coupon for the next pair. But I wanted the taller ones and da-da-da-da-da. So the one pair that were in the other rotation from the previous challenge that still didn't really get worn, yeah, I would definitely buy those ones again. Would I buy these ones again? Again, this was under duress because supply chain issues. So I would still rather have the taller one probably most of the time, although it's pretty easy to lace these on now since there's just 2 little speed hooks and I'm done. So in terms of a grab boot, they've worked out pretty well, and I haven't had any real complaints about them. But again, I haven't done anything too strenuous in them either. These, on the other hand, like I said, nailing down the fit has been kind of a challenge. So when I got the newer, wider width ones and stuff, I did get them, I think, at a sale price. So I don't know if I would have paid full price for them, but they were also the waxed flesh ones, similar to the Hero boots, which again, I wasn't that interested in. The only reason I did order them is because they were a sale price. Whereas these, I did just absolutely, really, really want to check out this leather. I couldn't wait to get them, and I can't believe that it took me like 3 years to finally wear them, and now I'm putting them back on the shelf to keep them good still. So obviously I would still buy this one at full price. Yeah, because I just think it looks cool, even if I don't wear them as much as most people would argue I should. These, most people would argue, are cheap boots and da-da-da, but of course I bought these so many years ago, and they were less expensive then, although comparably, I guess, you know. But at the time, these didn't fit me that well. The only reason I wear these now is because I kind of grew into them. So at the time, I would have said, no, I wouldn't buy them at full price again. Whereas now I'm like, ooh, you know, I might want to try and get these rebuilt, even though they're considered cheap boots, just because they fit better than some of the other ones by default now that my feet got wider or whatever. So it kind of varies. And these weren't the typical same $200 price as the captain boots and the president boots. These cost a little bit more, but again, I got one of these pairs at the sale price, which was essential at the time for me just to try them on, because again, these ran too small and I had to exchange them. And then I didn't end up getting the sale price for the other pair, but then I did turn around and pay full price for the other pair to get the other color. So I guess, yes, I guess I would buy these again at full price, because even though they're also not the highest quality cowboy boots, for the price, they're about the only ones with this toe shape that actually fit my feet. And I've finally been able to get the right one off by myself without needing some assistance. So it's getting used enough that I can put them on and off. But when I do first put them on, they are a little bit slippy, slidey. And then once I've worn them for, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes or whatever, they feel mostly correct. And then, again, I don't remember which ones of these I got with coupons and which ones I haven't. I've been seeing different videos about the Thorogoods and watching people compare them to Red Wings, and people compare them to Duraderos, and people compare them to, I don't know, Carolinas or whatever. And it seems like overall a lot of people, either for the price or some other factor, come out saying that they'd rather have a different pair than these. But those brands, so far, I don't see any reason to get them now. I'm not interested in doing another head-to-head thing yet. Although down the road, I might do my own head-to-head of these versus one of those others. But then a couple of the videos that I'd seen, it seemed like the Duradero had been buying Red Wing boots as factory defects or something, and then just sticking their own name on them or something. So I guess you're comparing Thorogood to defective Red Wings, or I'm sorry, Thorogood to defective Red Wings when you're getting Duraderos into that particular model. I'm not positive. Don't quote me. I don't own them. I don't have them. I don't know. But they looked pretty spot on next to the Red Wings. So maybe one pair of this in steel toe, and then one pair of the round toe. So the round toe are the ones I am keeping out of the challenges in case I do need work boots that aren't steel toe. And then, of course, I have the Georgia steel toe boots that I might wear first before I grab the Thorogood steel toe boots. Just because there's a little more toe room. They're going to be a little more comfortable, I think, for a full day. I don't know if I'll ever really need the Thorogood steel toe boots. I bought them on accident, and I'm just keeping them kind of for an emergency. So that's where we are. So I went on about 10 minutes longer than I expected, but that's okay. Maybe 5 of you will sit through the whole thing and make me all happy. So yeah, as always, I started that buy me a coffee feature. Boycott Tinder. I'm not joking. Please watch that video or tell a friend if you get this far. If you have any comments, as always, put them in the, or questions, put them in the comments down below. I like to, be useful, if nothing else, I guess. I don't know how entertaining this is, but watching me sweat and talk about boots. But okay, so yep, 2 more weeks. I don't know. I mean, technically, I could pull the plug on the whole thing right now because, again, next week's going to be a weird week, and then the week after that, I don't know what to expect. So I don't know if this challenge will really go to week 8 with any of the original boots or not, but the list is still in the description of the intended boots, but I didn't wear the Oak Street ones. I probably won't again, because, again, I need a new insole for them or whatever. I didn't wear any of the Grant Stone ones. Again, that won't be next week if it's raining, but it might be the week after, maybe, if I feel like wearing those instead of like these. Other than that, and the JK boots. I might go back to the JK boots. I was going to go to the Packer boots, and then I had that weird anomaly with the metal stud thing, so I don't know. Can't make up my mind on which heavy-duty ones. And, of course, I haven't worn the heavy-duty mock toes yet from the Knicks because I've worn these and the other ones instead. So maybe Saturday or something I'll finally wear those, and I'll, update the description or something or mention it next week.